Yeah, this something beautiful right here. Co-cast, we're live. Phrase, R, M-Child, Sellers, DS, Wells. You know, we're about to introduce you to something beautiful. Yo, with us, you know, grind is a given. Either cooking something to chef or I'm spitting. Came from the bottom with nothing, the top chillin'. We do it for hood legends, those past are still living. With us, you know, grind is a given. Either cooking something to chef or I'm spitting. Came from the bottom with nothing, the top chillin'. We do it for hood legends, those past are still living. Listen, I'm trying to be well known.
Once again, grind is a given. All Shades Phrase featuring R. Brentwood RP. Let's go! This show is brought to you by Active Chiropractic Care, located in Comac, New York, and Aligned Posture leads for success to foster. Say the promo code SUPERSTAR15 and you will get a complimentary spinal examination that'll lead you on your journey for peak performance. This show is also brought to you by Long Island Fitness Experts Alliance. Get in contact with a Life Alliance trainer and you will be guaranteed to add life to your years. Hip-hop producer Dabooz has been a brother of mine for 25 years. With credits such as ghost producing Victory 2007 for rapper Papoose, he has worked with numerous hip-hop artists and producers alike. In this interview, we speak about hip-hop production, his dream collaborations, and his other notable talents such as street dancing and cooking. Let's kick that good game, y'all. How's everything, man?
Good, everything's good, bro. I'm doing good. Life is good.
Nice. So I just want to ask you, chop it up with you, ask you a few questions and everything like that. So, just first of all, give the listeners a little bit of feedback on, your resume and things that you've done in your life.
As far as everything, or just music, or just cooking?
Music, dancing, cooking, all the above choice, D.
All right, well, I start with the dancing, because that's the oldest thing that I do as far as my talents, I guess you could say. Started dancing back in the day, little young tyke. Actually, was playing drums. I was doing, actually, it was the same time, playing drums, dancing. It all kind of ties in together. So I was doing that, and then that kind of transferred into making beats, because the drummer thing, I wanted to do more with it, and not just play live. I actually want to make music, produce them on wax, So that's kind of how that started. With the dancing and the type of shit I like to dance to, transformed into what I like to listen to, transformed into what I like to make. So it all kind of ties in together. The cooking thing just kind of fell in my lap. And it's a cool opportunity to learn some things that people have to pay to go to school for. I get to learn for free and work in the field, which is cool. And it's good food I like to eat. Nothing wrong with that. So it all works out.
Nice. Okay. So let's start off with dancing. Let's really target that. What are your thoughts on the current, state of the, popping and locking game?
It's changed. It's different. It's dope. It's a little different though than what I grew up watching and doing. But they took that and ran with it and kind of created their own thing, which is ill to see the sport evolving, which is cool. I mean, I got love for it. I appreciate it. I respect it. And more power to people who are doing it now and just kind of keeping it creative, keeping it new. I just like watching it. I don't really do exactly what they do, but it's dope to watch.
Nice. And your thoughts regarding Michael Jackson as being an influence? Because he was influential with me as well as you.
Oh, yeah, definitely Michael Jackson. He was like the first one, because, I don't think a lot of pop lockers and stuff like that would be like, yo, I mean, they would say Michael Jackson influenced them, but Michael Jackson is not like, you would say, like, he's not a b-boy, you know what I mean? He's not a pop locker. He just kind of is an overall good dancer. So I kind of learned a lot about rhythm and stuff like that from Michael Jackson as opposed to moves and how to dance. It was more like how your body feels the rhythm of moving to music. From his old stuff to like that funky disco to his newer stuff, like you see it change, and it's like he kind of taught me how to like rhythm, how to feel the rhythm and stuff, because I was listening to his stuff at a young age. Like a lot of kids don't do that. Like we were listening to a lot of old Michael Jackson when we were younger, like his older stuff when we weren't even alive. So hearing that and having that foundation as far as music, and hearing that bop and seeing how we danced to that old stuff kind of made a foundation for how I like to move to music now and hear rhythms in my head now. So yeah, definitely Michael Jackson influenced me.
Nice. People might not know, obviously Brentwood, New York doesn't get a lot of recognition, but there was a big popping scene back in the late 90s, early 2000s, and you were part of that wave. Tell us about that experience.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, a lot of dudes came from Brentwood before me and before my peers. It was a big scene. Like, that was the thing to do. Dance, you know what I mean? Catch a cipher, like, dance ciphers. Now it's like rap ciphers and battles and stuff. And back then it was like you get together and form a circle and you dancing. And you don't really see that now, but yeah, you do, but it's a little different. But yeah, it was definitely a big thing to do and more of a following, like a cult, I guess you could say. We danced after school, practiced after school to dance in school the next day. It was weird, but it was definitely fun.
And the state of battling is different now, too. The way you guys battled versus the way these guys battle.
Oh, yeah.
Break down some of that stuff.
Well, back then, the battle moves were different. It was more personal. Like, yo, I'm gonna do something to you to embarrass you, or like, take out your heart, kill you, to kill you metaphorically and not literally, but in a, what's the word? Showing your creativeness as far as your dancing moves, but incorporating them in a move that would, what's it called? Like, cripple your opponent. Now it's more like the dance is the battle. Like, what I do versus what you do. Not back in the day when it was me, when we were growing up, it was what I did to you. That was like the factor, instead of now it's just like, all right, I could do this better than you. We could do the same thing, but I just did it better, so I won. As opposed to back then when it was like, oh, he took your heart out and ate it, and you just play with a basketball with it, and it's not the same. He kind of killed you. It's different now. Like, you don't really see that one-on-one. It's just like, I'm going to go in there and do me, and you're going to go in there and do you, and then whoever the crowd likes is who's going to win.
Right.
Which is cool. I kind of respect that too. Because back in the day when I was battling, if you didn't have any moves, even though you could be better foundationally than someone else, if you didn't have any moves, like battle moves, then you kind of lost the battle. So that's where it's kind of different from back then, which is kind of ill. I like this way better because it just shows it's just a show of skill, where you could be doing a totally different dance than me, but we're just going to show our skills, and who could do it better is probably going to be the winner.
Now, how would you break down your style, in the Brentwood sense? Because, there was a lot of Brentwood poppers that had, different styles. Mm-hmm. Some were more old school. Some were more, contemporary to that time, or like music video, poppers.
Yeah.
Where would you rank yourself?
I think I was more old school, West Coast, what would you call it? I forgot the name, but like more of,
like funk?
Yeah, like a funk locking, but not locking, just locking your joints, not the actual, like, Campbell locking, but just locking and stop freezing, stuff like that. Like more West Coast, old school, funky style, as opposed to like, and I had some newer stuff, which were keeping up with the times and contemporary dance and throwing in what's going on at the time, heel toe, and, popular dances at the time, but my core, which was built upon the type of music I liked at the time, or the type of music that moves me, which is that West Coast old school funk, Parliament, G-Funk, all that old school stuff is what I like, to where my core foundation is, and then everything else is just contemporary moves that I'm learning along my little journey of dancing.
Nice. So, talent show. Fashion show is something I did in school. Talent show. What was that experience like? You did 3 of them.
Yeah, that was fun, man. It's just fun to get good feedback from your friends and peers who, think you're good at something, and you actually, they actually take to it and like it. And that's a dope feeling, man. It makes you want to do it. That's why I did it 3 years. I'm like, I want to, not only for them, but I did it for myself. It's a talent show, so I want to display my talent with my friends.
Yeah, and you did a solo. Yeah, last year.
Yeah, I did a solo. Well, I did a solo because my friend that I danced with wasn't available, but Yeah, I did a solo, and the best solo act for me which wouldn't be boring, would be a Michael Jackson act. So
It's true to you.
yeah, it's true to me. It's like something I always wanted to do. I always liked Michael Jackson and loved his music and his dance. So I'm like, yeah, I'm only gonna be up there by myself. I'd just pay a tribute to MJ and do it right.
Nice.
And they took to that. People liked it, and I was kind of satisfied. Not really too satisfied with it, but it's something I wanted to get out before while I had the chance to. I've never got the chance to do that, so I just took the opportunity to go for it. And I liked it.
I was gonna ask you, what are your thoughts on Chris Brown's Michael Jackson tribute?
If he wasn't, my whole thing, if he wasn't Chris Brown, and if he was just a regular guy at your school dancing, would you be like, oh, he's the best, he's just as good as Mike? I feel like because he's Chris Brown and because he kind of already sounds like Michael Jackson, his style of music, the songs that he sings kind of have a Michael Jackson feel to them. So when he dances like him, it kind of just ties it all together. Like, oh, we kind of overlook his moves. Because I've seen dancers that don't sing and are not famous do Michael Jackson way better than Chris Brown. Or impersonators that don't sing, they just dance and they're way better than Chris Brown. But I respect him and all that stuff. I respect as far as him, comparing him with Michael Jackson, I respect his music sounding more like Michael Jackson than his dance. Because he kind of does his own thing. Mm-hmm. But when he emulates Michael Jackson, like, I've seen better. It's not bad, but I've seen better. But I feel like we overlook that because he's Chris Brown and he is our, this generation's Michael Jackson, I guess what they're calling him. But I respect what he does, and yeah, you can compare him to, our generation's Michael Jackson, kind of.
If dancers wanted to reach out to you, would you go about, mentoring them?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I definitely would. I mean, I feel like I would need to brush up. As far as being in that dance lifestyle now, it's not so much as how I used to be in it. But yeah, if anyone wanted to reach out and just practice or just cipher, it's not really like I'm not really gonna teach them. We'll learn from each other, but I'm not really into setting up classes and all right, this is what we're gonna learn. We could just vibe out and jam, and we'll pick up things from each other. But yeah, I'm definitely open to dancing with other dancers and just getting the sweat going and stuff like that.
Nice. Just last thing to touch upon dancing. Where do you rank yourself in the Brentwood dancing hierarchy?
Now or back then?
All time.
Of all time?
All time rank.
I would maybe say like 6, 7, somewhere around there.
That low?
Yeah, because there's people that I learned from and there's people that were before me. So to say that, I mean, at a time, there was a time where I was maybe like an 8, 9, at the heat of, what's going on with the dance, at the heat of that time maybe, but as far as all time, ever, probably like 6, 7, somewhere around there, because there's people that were before me that shut it down way before me, and I learned from them, and, we all got different set of skills. I'm not the best at anything or everything. I'm just, good at everything, well-rounded.
Very humble answer. Very humble answer. Right. So now we're going to talk about music production. Something I feel like I was around for since your beginning. Yeah. The old school days of drumming at the house.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about what got you into, you said, drumming and everything like that got you into hip hop, but what pushed you to that next step? Or any producer, what took you to that next step to where your song was on the radio and you're vibing with different producers and rappers? Like, what was that push?
Well, when I was in high school, like I said, I played the drums in, like, middle school and then at the house. And I just wanted to start making beats because I would hear these songs as a kid and just wonder, like, how did this new song come out with an old sample? Like, I know this old song, but how did they make it new and make it sound like it came out now, but this is an old sample from the Supremes from the 70s. So that, I started, wanting to know more about that and how that works. So then I started looking up whether they're using computers to make the beats or how they're doing that. So I linked up with a friend who had like a beat program on his computer. And that was my first interaction with making a beat on the computer and bringing it home on
What
CD.
program was that, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, that was Fruity Loops. I think it was like version 3 or
Wow.
something like that. Like one of the first versions of Fruity Loops. And that was my first experience with that. So once I saw the creativeness in that, and I'm like, yo, I could do all this stuff that, what I'm hearing I could make. That's when I started to wanting to really put my creativeness down and do it myself and make my own beats. Like make beats that I like to hear, like the music I'm listening to, and put my own spin on it. So from there, I went to learning more about what programs I need, what equipment do I need, and then started talking to people, meeting rappers, and this is before I really had beats, just going to a couple studios and seeing how it's made, how they do what they do, and all that stuff. And then that was towards my ending years of high school, and then once I finished high school, went into college, went to Five Towns for music, and then just started meeting people there and really learning how they do it and just opening up my options on what I can do and how to make these beats. So once I learned that, I bought my own equipment and started making my own stuff. At first, I would make things that were already made. Like I would sample things that are already sampled so I could kind of understand how they did it and just put my own spin on it. And then from then, that's when I started sampling my own stuff and creating things how I wanted to. And then a couple years of that, just learning and growing, I got connected with a producer who was in the industry already through like luck, I guess it was. And then I started chopping it up with him in the studio, learning from him, seeing how he formats his beats and how his beats sounded. So I started to try to make my things sound like that. Not really make my beats sound like his, but just sonically. Like the mix on them. You want them to like really knock and you want them to be loud and really give a good feeling. So I started learning that from him, and I started showing him a lot of my beats that I would make. So I'd make them at my house, go to the studio, show him, and just get feedback from him on what he thinks. Is this good? Do you think people will mess with this? So once he started taking a liking to my stuff, I started like really getting inspired to, because I'm like, oh, this guy likes my beats. So, if he likes him and he has beats in the industry, then they're going to like mine. And, I'm on the right track. So a couple months of that, of just making beats, kind of just focusing on making good beats, making quality as opposed to quantity. I don't want 5 trash beats. I'd rather have 2 good, really good beats than 5 okay beats. So I started doing that and showing him a lot of my stuff, and then that took off where he started showing his stuff to artists that were shopping for beats. And one thing led to another, and a rapper picked up one of my beats from his, from the beats that he was shopping. He picked one of my beats, and next thing led to another, and that beat's on the radio, and now I'm like going crazy because now I'm hearing my stuff on like Hot 97 and Funkmaster Flex and K Slay, and I'm like, oh man, this is crazy. Like I didn't, because the thing is, like, you think that these situations are gonna be like a big party, like, oh, my beat's on the radio, yeah, like, partying and stuff, but no, it just happens like that.
Yeah.
Just right now, your beat's on the radio and you don't even know what to do. It's just like, it was just so much at one time. I didn't even know what to do, what was gonna happen next. I didn't know what my career, like, well, am I gonna be famous now? Am I gonna be like rich? Is mad money? I didn't know. So just taking it all in was definitely a cool experience, and it humbled me because I'm glad that it happened that way. That it didn't happen where I got a lot of money, and yeah, they picked me up and I'm signed now, and yeah, I'm living that life, because it humbles you. It makes you like, you know what? Anybody walking around here can have a beat on the radio, and you don't even know it. Or anyone here could be a multi-platinum producer, and you don't even know it. So it kind of made me carry myself in a different way, as far as you can have beats and you can have good quality stuff, but you don't have to act like it, and you don't have to go out around talking about it, because nobody really knows I made that beat. But that shit got a couple of thousands of views on YouTube, and no one even knows it's me. So I'm just, it's a humbling feeling, which I like about it, which is cool. So that I learned a lot from that experience, and it just made me want to work harder. It kind of got me some ins with a couple producers and rappers and situations like that. Met some cool people, been in some cool studios, heard a lot of dope music. So I'm just building from that and just trying to grow with my music, with my sound. That's really it.
Is there any particular type of artist that you would like to work with?
Yeah, I want to work. I want to work with Busta Rhymes, honestly, because that guy, when I was growing up, he was a big influence. His music, his rhythms, like his flows, not really his word content, because he's not the best lyrically, but flow and rhythmically, his flows are crazy, and I would love to produce a Busta Rhymes beat, because his beats always knock. They always got some. They're never boring, and I would. Even though he's a little older now, where he's not putting out that much music, but definitely in my heyday, even now, I wouldn't even care if I made a joint with him and it didn't even go anywhere. Just to have him on my beat would be crazy. A lot of older rappers, like him, I would want to do. Anybody would want to get Jay-Z on their joint just to say Jay-Z is on. I made a beat for Jay-Z, but. Anybody, honestly. I mean, if you're good and you got talent, I don't really mind if you're famous or not famous. It doesn't matter to me, man. As long as you're spitting quality music, it doesn't matter. So I'll really work with anybody.
Nice. Question I have for you. What is your favorite beat of all time, if you had to pick?
Of all time?
All time. Favorite hip-hop beat?
Oh, man. Honestly, I couldn't even, because I don't even know the names of the songs. Because I don't really, every time I hear a beat, I never do the research on the song. Like, I always like the beat, and I'll probably never hear it again, but when I do hear it again, I'm like, oh, that's my favorite beat. But it's probably, I know it is a Primo sample, I just can't tell you the name of the beat, the name of the song, or the artist. But dealing with, when you make beats, you hear a lot of beats from name producers, from no-name producers, and I got a lot of beats from no-name producers that I like. This is my favorite beat ever. Yeah. Like Astro Note, a producer in London, he got at least 3 of my favorite beats. Jay Sue, another producer from London, got like top 2. So, I mean, my favorite industry beat of all time.
Is it still Focus?
I don't know. I don't even really have one. I have a bunch of favorites, like a bunch of ones that I can't really say one is like the one. For a while that beat was one. I go through instances like that. Like this monthly, I love this beat. And then I'll play it so much that it won't really do the same thing for me. And then if I take some time off it and then come back to it, I'm like, oh, this is my favorite again.
What about Put Your Hands on My Cassette?
Yeah, that's a heavy one. That's a heavy one. That's top 5.
Yeah.
That's top 5. There's a bunch. Like, there's so many beats. But I just don't know the names of the songs. It's just like, I've heard so many beats that it's like...
Right.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
And now you've also added another talent, which is cooking. And you were speaking on that before.
Yeah, cooking it's cool because I like it because I didn't know anything about it. It's not like I didn't go to culinary school. I was never a foodie. Like I barely eat. I barely used to finish my dinner as a kid.
Yeah.
So to be in that field now, which is totally different from music or dance or anything like that, it's dope because it's contrast everything. Like I cook in the kitchen, then I come home and I cook in the studio. Like it's kind of the same remedy. Like you take something from scratch, you prep it up, chop it how you want, and since I deal with samples, I chop. Like literally, I'll chop the sample. Like and you build it like mirepoix. That's a term in culinary. It's like you're gonna start a soup. Your mirepoix, your chopped celery, chopped carrots, chopped onion. Start off everything like that. You know what I mean? You get that sauteed up. So in the beginning, like when I'm making a beat, you start with the mirepoix. You start it and you have everything there and it's going and you start to build it from there. So with the same thing with food, culinary dishes, you'll start with a base and then start building the sauce. You know what I mean? You saute it, then you throw in the stock, some wine, boil it, different stages. So it's the same thing with beats, which is kind of crazy how you think about that. Like you think about the steps and cooking and the steps and making a beat is kind of the same thing. And in the end, you have a finished product ready to serve. and hopefully they like it. And then you just keep it going, man. It's dope. Cooking is, I learned a lot, not just about food, but there's so much stuff you can do with food that I had no idea. And cooking is really all about timing, just like beats for me. Like, it's timing, and anyone can learn how to cook. You just gotta be multitask. Like, you know, you got one thing over here in the broiler, you got one thing over here in the oven, you got something on the top stove, and everything has to come out hot together. So it's definitely a multitasking job, which, you know, opens up your brain for different ways of going about things, which I like. And you get to eat good food, so who doesn't like that?
I'm with that, man.
Right.
Now, where can my listeners reach you?
Well, I have Instagram at _booze. That's B00ZE. Facebook is my name, Jeffrey Dabooz. I don't really have music on my Facebook, but that's where they can contact me. My email is jdabooz@gmail.com. JDABOOZ@gmail.com. I have a couple of joints on my Instagram, a couple of videos like of beats and stuff. I don't really post a lot of my stuff to like SoundCloud or SoundClick, because I like to work with the producer. I like to work with the rapper or artist. So instead of giving you beats, like a beat CD with 20 beats on it, and you could just filter through what you don't like, I would rather go in the studio with you and play you the joints right there. So if you hear, like, I could change them up right there, because I have the MPC and the beat's raw and it's not put together. It's put together, I could do it for you right here, but we could change it right then and there. That's why I don't like really giving people beat CDs, because they might actually like the beat, but they might not like one part. And I can't change that on CD, but if you're in the studio with me, we could change it right then and there and go through different variations of the beat, where you'd be like, oh, I like this, but can you change it this way? And then if I change it, then you'll be more, take a liking to it. So, I mean, if you just email me, you know what I mean, we can work. I'm always around in the studios, traveling here and there. So, yeah, I'm definitely available to come through, chop it up some time, and actually produce. Like, that's what producing is. Producing is not just, you know, there's beat makers and there's producers. Producers build the track from the foundation up, you know, going back and forth with ideas to come up with something. Beat makers just make beats and just do what you do on it. You know, let the artist do what they do on it. I already made the beat, it doesn't matter. But I like, you know, I used to do that back in the day, but now I'm becoming more of like, I kind of want more control on, you know, hooks and melodies and stuff like that. So I like to work with the artists in the studio instead of just sending them beat CDs and stuff like that.
Nice, brother. Hey, pleasure having this interview with you.
Always, man.
Definitely, man. We'll continue to chop it up. Peace and love, everyone.
No doubt.
What, y'all thought it was over? Nah, we can't leave y'all like that. This is Star J, the greatest ever. New Dabooz. Barbarians. Brentwood. Ow! What is your definition of a visionary?
Someone who can manifest thoughts into things. Pretty much in a nutshell. If you could see it and create it, see it before you create it and manifest it into a physical being. Not a physical, but a physical entity, or, if I hear something and I want it, I hear it, put it together in my head, hear it how I want it in my head, and then get it out there like that. I feel like that's a visionary. If you could see it in your head and then create it, that makes you a visionary because you saw it first and then you manifested that out of nothing.
Yo, we taking rap back to the East Coast. It's coming round back to the East Coast. Check, we coming
Yo,
back
inspired by the
to
music,
East
got the
Coast.
world on my shoulders since a lad with a pad and a pen in his holster. Ride a rhyme, kill a track, ride a rhyme again, kill another track, it's done, time again. Stars got lyrics, I'm not a living legend, not yet, but I'm close, just give me a couple seconds. Then you'll be screaming, y'all want that old star. This upgrade upstart is so avant-garde. Won't sing in this position cause this style is different. Play close attention to the rhymes that I'm kicking. Rhymes that I kick though will always flip. Some will learn the martial law each time I spit around. Been doing this here since '96 to shine. Brighter than a solar flare, I am real. With the visions of the mission that is really coming near. Got a feeling that is building up my krillin' in the spare. When the feeling something thrilling and only for the spare. Up TM with 3 eyes, take a flight in the air. With my fingers on my temple and my vision so clear. Though I can't beat sell, I can make them feel fair. Hands shaped like a diamond, unmatched but so rare. Foreign league, it's all year, we in here, what? Yo, most cats respect, most cats gon' hate. Want me to acknowledge them, man, y'all gon' wait.